guys, and welcome to another episode of Zoell TV. I am Zoell, and this is your January 10th, 2020 WWE Smackdown live review. Overall, this show didn't do anything for me, and I wouldn't say it was boring, it just didn't have anything exciting. We did further some storylines, but other than that, it was a bland episode of SmackDown. We started the show with Miz TV, and Miz came out and basically just apologized to Kofi Kingston. He said that he's been through a lot, with the Fiend attacking his family and Monroe Sky, and that, just that was his excuse for what seemed like his rage against Kofi Kingston last week. The crowd did boo, and I think it's because whenever The Miz tries to play a good guy, the crowd kind of sees through him because, like I said previously, The Miz is a natural born heel. So face turns for Miz don't do him any good, and I don't think they kind of add to his character. Miz is just known to be a douchebag, and that is where he excels. So I'm hoping this reformed alliance with John Morrison kind of brings him back to where he was as far as being a heel. He brought out John Morrison, and I don't know if it was my stream, but the crowd didn't really pop for Morrison. It could, like I said, it could have just been my stream, but I did see a lot of people on Twitter saying that he got a big pop. I didn't hear it. The casual fans nowadays probably don't know who John Morrison is. And if you're an older fan of Morrison, you're going to pop for him because he's excellent in the ring. But I didn't expect him to come out to, an arena full of people standing and waving their phones in the air to see John Morrison. So, if he did get a pop, that's good for him. But, it just is what it is. Morrison talked about the Royal Rumble and said that, he had a camera crew following him around for the WWE documentary that they do, and Chronicle, that's its name. But he said that he put that to the side because it was more important for him to be there for his friend. And then what really did it for this segment was how Morrison went from, coming out and loving the fans' reaction to him to quickly turning on the crowd. And he said that he's disappointed in the WWE universe because they chanted "You suck" after Miz. And he didn't like that because, Miz just had one bad day. I mean, is he the Joker now? I'm confused. Morrison said that Miz is one of the hardest working people on the roster. And I was just listening to him talk, and I'm like, did they really bring him back to stroke the Miz's ego? Because this is not what I want to see out of John Morrison at all. At this point, Morrison and Maurice should just have a Miz on a pole match to see who's his rightful wife, because I feel like this is, stroking the Miz's ego is Maurice's thing, not Morrison. If anything, Morrison should come out and stroke his own ego and try and get over with the new casual fans. But again, that's just me. Morrison began insulting the crowd, and then that brought out the New Day. Big E's compares Miz to the end of a Human Centipede, and this is when I just rolled my eyes because I never want to be reminded of that movie ever. That movie was just disgusting, and I get the I get the whole he's comparing Miz to an ass, but that that's obvious. Miz is an ass. That's what he's good at. So, the Miz said that Kofi held the championship for 6 months, and he respects that, but he also respects the 6 seconds that it took Kofi to lose the championship to Brock Lesnar. And at this point, I'm like, this is the Miz that I want to see. And I see no lies, because it is a fact that Kofi did lose the championship. He did eventually correct Miz and say that it was actually 8 seconds. Not that it makes a difference, but the fact is that, like Miz said, like, you lost the championship and just went about your business. And that was supposed to be a championship that you worked so hard for, and it's so prestigious, and you just come out week after week throwing pancakes and laughing and smiling, and it's almost as if his hard-earned win at WrestleMania against Daniel Bryan just didn't matter. And I'm just happy that finally we addressed the fact that Kofi lost the championship and came out the next week as if it never happened. So this is the Miz that I want to see, and I'm happy that somebody finally brought it up instead of acting like it just never happened. Kofi, basically, his comeback was not that good. He said that, basically, in a nutshell, Miz is annoying, and he can see why the crowd says that he sucks, and that leads to their match. Nothing special. John Morrison eventually got involved and hit Big E with a spinning cannon. He jumped over the steel steps and landed on Big E. That distracted Kofi, and The Miz hit his skull-crushing finale for the 3 count. So if they're bringing back, Miz and Morrison as a tag team, I'm here for it. It is a good way to introduce Miz, like I said, back to the crowd. And my thought is, now Miz and Morrison have to win the tag team championships at the Royal Rumble. It only makes sense, and I feel like the Miz and Morrison will really elevate those championships, because the New Day is not doing anything with them at all. At this point, they're just placeholders, and the championships don't really feel important. Not that they are, because there is no tag team division, but Miz and Morrison will bring some kind of new importance to the championships. Next, we had a Firefly Funhouse segment, and Bray Wyatt said that he loves us and that love is special, and not everybody is worthy of love, and he is referring to Daniel Bryan. He says that whatever the opposite of love is, that is how the Fiend feels about Daniel Bryan. Bray says that Daniel is in trouble at the Royal Rumble because the Fiend wants him to remember. He wanted to change Daniel, and since Daniel wants to take away the championship, the Fiend now wants to hurt Daniel Bryan. And again, Bray Wyatt says that he loves us, not Daniel Bryan, and that is the end of the segment. The only thing I can say is I like how they are finally acknowledging Daniel Bryan's past with the Wyatt family. I am a big fan of consistency, so it's good. It's good. The Firefly Funhouse segments are always good, but I feel like Bray Wyatt has just become so commercial, and now that he's a champion, I feel like there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen trying to figure out what to do with him, and it's really gonna be his downfall, because the Fiend should be something special, and now that he's a champion, he should be extra special, and he should be presented as that way. But I just feel like now these Firefly Funhouse segments are not as good as they were in the beginning, and Bray Wyatt he just oozes creativity, and I know that he has plenty of ideas of what he wants to do, but like I said, there's too many cooks in the kitchen, and the Firefly Funhouse segments just don't, they don't they don't hit the way that they used to. So, I hope the Royal Rumble match is a good one. Um, but just please, no red lights. No red lights, please. So we had a backstage segment with Sonya Deville hyping up Mandy Rose before their match. Mandy kind of was not really paying attention, and then she said she'll meet Sonya out there. She has to do something, which will later lead into another backstage segment with Mandy Rose and Heavy Machinery. And I'm kind of skipping ahead because I know that Elias had a little sing along in the ring, nothing to really talk about. I don't know what they're doing with Elias. When I first saw Elias, I really said, "Oh, he could be something." Like his character is defined. He knows who he is, but he is just fallen off a cliff and is just never recovered. So Mandy Rose gives Otis a cake that says "I'm sorry" on it, and she apologized for letting Dolph Ziggler ruin Otis's mom's fruitcake. And this storyline is cute. I hope it gets them over because the women's division really has nobody. And if they're going to push somebody, I would rather them push somebody fresh and new. And not really fresh, but I want some new faces. Sonya Deville can be pushed to a certain degree. Mandy Rose obviously has the Vince McMahon look, so we know that she can get pushed, but just the women's division just sucks right now. So the next match was Mandy Rose and with Sonya Deville versus Alexa Bliss with Nikki Cross. Again, this match did nothing, although Michael Cole would have had you think that the winner was going to get a championship match or something, or the last spot in the Royal Rumble or something. But towards the end of the match, Heavy Machinery music plays. Alexa plays the dumb baby face and she gets distracted and Mandy gets the win. This match did nothing, and it just, at this point, what do you do to Alexa Bliss? Like, I don't feel like someone as cunning and as smart as her would have gotten distracted by Heavy Machinery, but I guess, to give Mandy the win, they want to use her little storyline with Otis, and great for her. She got a win. Whatever. Daniel Bryan was interviewed backstage, and he was asked about what Bray Wyatt said about him earlier in the night. He said that he knows that the Fiend can be hurt and he can be beat. And then Bray Wyatt interrupts him and Rambling Rabbit started talking about he knows how the Fiend can get beat and he knows his weaknesses. And then Bray Wyatt comes in and kind of shuts him up and says that snitches get stitches. And the Fiend says, "Let me in." And then that was pretty much it. I feel like Rambling Rabbit would have said something like, "Oh, when the red lights are on, that's when the Fiend is hit at his weakest." And I feel like, the lack of creativity on the writing team, I would not be surprised if that is the little secret that Rambling Rabbit was about to say. So if that happens, again, I'm not surprised. We had Braun Strowman versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke attacked Strowman before the match. Strowman threw Shinsuke across the ring. Shinsuke moves out the way of Strowman's splash. Cesaro distracts Strowman. Shinsuke kicks Strowman over into the timekeeper's area. Shinsuke goes to the top rope for a flying knee. He only gets a 2 count. And I just wanted to say that Sami Zayn mocking Braun Strowman at ringside was just hilarious. It's just, Sami Zayn is so good at his managerial role. I do miss him in the ring, but he is probably the only exciting part of this Cesaro, Shinsuke, and Sami Zayn little group thing going on. Strowman gave Shinsuke a clothesline, 2 shoulder tackles, and then a big splash in the corner. He lands a clubbing blow to Shinsuke's chest for a 2 count. Shinsuke reverses a power slam and lands another running knee strike for a 2 count. Strowman gives Shinsuke a spine buster, and Sami Zayn gets on the apron at this point, distracts the referee, while Cesaro goes under the ring to get a steel chair. Strowman sees this, knocks Cesaro off the apron. Sami Zayn, while the referee's back is turned, Sami Zayn slides in the IC title, and Shinsuke goes to hit him with it, but Strowman misses it, hits his power slam, and gets a 3 count. So I assume that at the Royal Rumble, it'll be Strowman versus Shinsuke for the Intercontinental Championship. Another match I'm not excited about at all. Braun Strowman he has fallen off a cliff and has never and hasn't recovered. I know that Paul Heyman was a big fan of his, but he just doesn't have it for me anymore. Another backstage segment with Daniel Bryan. He is seen with a present from the Fiend, and it's Rambling Rabbit with half his head ripped off. And I guess this goes back to snitches get stitches. So, a little advice for kids out there: mind your business. Then we go to the main event. Before the main event, which is the Usos versus Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler, Roman Reigns comes out and he says that 2019 was a blessed year, despite the fact that he was jumped, embarrassed, and outnumbered by Corbin and his Goonies. Roman says that he has always had backup, but this time he didn't need friends. He needed his family. He says that 2020 will be his year, and he will win the Royal Rumble and main event WrestleMania for the 5th time. And I could just hear people going, again. I don't know, but Roman, he's not getting the type of reactions that he used to get. I don't know if people have gotten tired of him. This feud with Baron Corbin has been doing nothing for him or anyone involved, actually. So, whatever. I don't know what they do with Roman. I know that he is probably going to meet up with the Fiend eventually for the championship. It's just the road that he's taking to get there is just not good. Eventually the Usos come out, they get in the ring, and they say that it feels good to be back on the blue brand. They say that Baron Corbin disrespected the family when they disrespected Roman Reigns, and Jey Uso says that kings come and go, but blood is forever. And that's when Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler come out. Corbin says that Roman is going to throw his family under the bus by getting them involved because he's scared to face him. He says that he is going to win the Royal Rumble, and then Roman says that he'd love nothing more than to whoop Corbin's ass twice in one night. And again, you can just hear the collective sighs going through the arena all over the world, because we do not want to see another Baron Corbin and Roman Reigns match. I have been Baron Corbin versus Roman Reigns out. I don't want to see it anymore. Baron Corbin, he's good in his role. He does what he's told. He does respond well to the quote-unquote X-Pac heat, but just this King Corbin gimmick and his wardrobe and coming out to this terrible music and just the throne, just everything about this just sucks. Baron Corbin said that he's going to eliminate Roman from the Royal Rumble and basically accepts Roman's challenge to a match at the Royal Rumble. I don't know. Anyway, I just had like a pause because I'm just like, there's really nothing to talk about. Anyway, the Usos dive outside the ring onto Dolph, Baron Corbin, and his security. Then we go to a commercial break. Jimmy Uso and Dolph start the match. Jay tags in and they hit a double team elbow drop on Dolph before he tags in Baron Corbin. Corbin hits his clothesline run thing around the ring post, gets a 2 count. He tags in Dolph, who hits a drop kick. Corbin tags back in, Jimmy eventually tags in and hits a low kick on Corbin. Jimmy hits an enziguri on Corbin. He goes to the top rope, and then the Revival come out. Corbin pushes Jimmy off the top rope while Dolph sends Jay into the crowd. Roman comes back out, and I was confused because I thought he was gonna. It would have made more sense for him to stay out ringside. I don't know why he had to go to the back and then come back out, but he hits a double Superman punch on the Revival. Jay hits a super kick on Dolph and a Samoan drop before super kicking Baron off the apron. Jay goes to make a dive, but Baron catches him and throws him into Roman Reigns into the barricade. At this point, Jay hits another super kick on Dolph, lands a superfly splash before Baron jumps in the ring and throws him into the ring post. Baron throws Roman into the barricade, sends Jimmy back into the ring. Roman spears Baron Corbin, and the referee calls for the bell, which is a disqualification. So Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler technically win the match. Roman starts clearing off the commentary table. Robert Roode returns and attacks Roman. He sends him into the ring post. He hits a glorious DDT, and Baron hits a deep six on Jey Uso. Robert holds up Jimmy, and Dolph hits him with a super kick. Then the three of them gang up on Roman Reigns, and Robert lands a spine buster on Roman on the commentary table. Then Dolph hits him with a jumping elbow, which actually breaks the table. The three of them pose, and that is the end of the show. And like I said, not a really good show. Don't really care for it at all. The SmackDown, Raw, just these shows, just they're not exciting, and the Royal Rumble is, it's supposed to be an exciting time because we're leading up to WrestleMania, but I'm not. If I saw the card right now for Royal Rumble, besides the actual Royal Rumble matches, I'm not excited for anything. And you have all this time to build up some storylines and some matches, and WWE they're lazy and they're uncreative, and it takes away from the actual event. Royal Rumble used to be something that the fans got excited for. It's WrestleMania season, and these shows just are not doing it for me at all. So I wish I had more to say. I do have to upload my AEW review right after this. And overall, like I said in the beginning, it was an okay show. Nothing to get special about. SmackDown, their roster is not, it doesn't have as much depth as Raw, but that's not saying much because Raw sucks. And a lot of these people on the roster are, turning face and they're turning heel, and you have high hopes for some new storylines to come out of it, but there's just no creativity at all. Oh, by the way, I did miss a segment with Lacey Evans and Bayley. I was giving my daughter a bath, so I didn't really catch all of it. I did catch the tail end of it with Bayley attacking Lacey Evans, and again, Lacey Evans just isn't doing it for me as a face. She just screams like the girl in high school that just, thought she was hot shit, and she's just really not, obviously. But they did, I think it was Corey Graves that mentioned that Lacey does want the championship, and at this point, Bayley as the women's champion is doing nothing for me, so I guess the title being into fresh hands will be something new. It'll probably give us something to do. But if Lacey does take the championship off Bayley, the only logical challenger after that is Sasha. But where does that leave Sasha and Bayley? Us hardcore fans do want a real feud between Bayley and Sasha. There is so much history there, but at this point, I don't even want to see it. because I feel like they're gonna shit on it. Sasha's return has been shit. Bailey's um Bailey's run as the champion has been shit. Lacey is shit in the ring. Like there's just no women's division. It just, you have a bunch of girls on here waiting. Like, where's Dana? Dana was heavily all over last week's show and she's nowhere to be seen today. So Sonya is busy being Mandy's lapdog. Same for Nikki Cross. Just Naomi is MIA. She's probably in Florida glowing up and down the streets. I don't know. I don't know. I want some fresh faces. I want some new matches, some new feuds, and I want the titles to mean something, but I feel like that's asking for way too much of a company that doesn't give a shit about what the fans want. So, why even bother at this point? But anyway, thanks for tuning in. Like I said, I'm going to upload my AEW review right after this. So, I will see you guys for Monday, Raw, for Monday's Raw episode. And please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. All love is appreciated. And I will see you guys later. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.